Hare Krishna. So today we'll discuss about 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is titled as the universal form. So, and in the Sanskrit Bhagavad Gita, it is said as Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga. Okay. So actually, if you see the 10th chapter, the in the title, the opulence of the absolute, the last verse Krishna says, like after explaining all his potencies in the last chapter, he explained his vibhutis, right? Vibhuti means his wealth or power. It's okay. He explained few of them, very few of them. He says, I cannot explain my powers, I cannot explain my opulences also, because they are unlimited, and it is not even possible for me also describe them. Hmm? Because Krishna is the proprietor of everything, and is everything, all the energies and all the wealth and all the creation, entire thing is the property of Krishna, and Krishna cannot explain all his potencies. So Krishna explained to Arjuna what are the predominating opulences. So after hearing that, and also after hearing about Bhakti Yoga, the most confidential knowledge, uh, in the ninth chapter, Arjuna, sorry, just give me 1 second. So Arjuna develops kind of understanding what Krishna is trying to educate him. So in the 11th chapter, first verse, Krishna Arjuna says, "My illusion has been dispelled by your great mercy in explaining to me these most confidential spiritual subjects about vibhutis." Okay, so what Arjuna was thinking, he was thinking, if you see in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna has many doubts, right? If I'm doing right or wrong, if like I'm fighting towards the elders, and also like I'm going to kill a lot of people, it will give sinful reactions, all those things, all those questions, which will give me happiness and which doesn't give me happiness, like that. He has many questions, and by this time, like Arjuna says that by your explanation, all my doubts are cleared. And also by your mercy, you explained to me your opulences also. We discussed, right, how we uh, s- you know, disclose our heart only to the most dear ones, not with the somebody who doesn't have uh, like a friendly relationship with us, or who is not related to us. We should not, we don't discuss most confidential things with strange persons. So devotees are very dear to the Krishna, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's why Krishna describes all the most confidential thing only to his devotees. If you see in Bhagavad Gita also, if you see in Srimad Bhagavatam also, no, his opulences, like his sweetness, uh, his intimacy, his leelas, uh, and all his whatever the sweetness God has is meant only for the devotees, not for the atheists or somebody. He actually maintains the atheists. He actually, even the demons also he maintains, because as a father maintains the children, even if the children are mischievous, or even if the children are turned to be criminals, he father doesn't like them, but still, as a duty, as the Parampita or Paramatma, he maintains everybody. He gives opportunity for all the living entities to enjoy the matter, and enjoy, even if they wanted to enjoy independent of him, he facilitates that also. So that's why Krishna is ultimately renunciate, because he's not attached to anything or anyone. But with when it comes to devotee, he is uh, specially favorable to devotees. So here, now 1 minute. So yeah, so Krishna is very dear to his devotees are very dear to Krishna. So If you see all the pastimes and everything, he only deals with his devotees. Okay, and actually sometimes his devotees becomes Krishna's parents also, and Krishna will reciprocate with them, no, with childish, and he serves the parents, no. If you see, there are some pictures, Krishna carrying the shoe of Nanda Maharaj, because Nanda Maharaj is a devotee of Krishna, and Krishna is very much inclined to serve his devotees also, and whatever gives pleasure to devotees, he will try to act in such a way. Because if you see, gopis also are devotees of Krishna. So sometimes gopis chastise Krishna, and that gives more what do you call, happiness to Krishna than the great sages reciting Purusha Sukta prayers or Vedic mantras. Mm. Because whatever, like when it comes to dealing with devotees, Krishna is very liberal. With Krishna is very intimate with the devotees. So now when Krishna explained about his opulences to Arjuna, Arjuna agreed it, and Arjuna says appreciated it, and then Arjuna says, "I have heard from you all your great, no, this most confidential knowledge." So now, like now here he goes and he is fully convinced. Now Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, but no, for the sake of others, no, uh, somebody will say, okay, if somebody comes and says, I have this jewels, I have this valuable gold, I have heaps and heaps of golds, something like that. Means if some person comes to us, or maybe some one of our friend says that, tells about his opulences, and we may agree, no, we may know him very well, and then we may agree. But if when we explain that to third person, no, you see, my friend has so much of gold, like, so much of rare jewels he has, or like wonderful things he has, like that, if you say, then third person may ask, okay, did you see him, did you see what that person what that person really has, did you actually see that? Hmm? The third person may ask, right, if we tell about our friend. Hmm? But because anyone can say anything, because there is for saying, you don't have to be much of, no, like if you see, especially in this age, anybody can say anything. Mean a lot of politicians, lot of, uh, fake uh, sadhus, they may say many things, but they don't follow, or they don't show any proofs. So if for the sake of others, now Arjuna is asking, I wish to see them, because Arjuna knows Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and there is nothing impossible for the God or Krishna. So in order for the atheists, in order for the non-believers, for them to convince, also for Arjuna to personally see Krishna's universal form, he asks Krishna to go, he requests Arjuna to show his universal form. So and why show universal form? Because it also sets a criteria. Because like if you see, nowadays there are many false incarnations. Somebody says, I'm also incarnation of Vishnu, like that, no. Especially in India, in the when proper time, there are many gods, no, the self-made gods, no, who say like, I am the incarnation of God, I am the incarnation of Vishnu, or incarnation of Krishna, like that. So Prabhupada writes in his book, for any person to claim that he is the God, or first one has to uh, tell him, show his universal form, just like Krishna showed to Arjuna. Mm. That is the ultimate test criteria. Because if he is God, no, then he should show the universal form. No, actually, it is said that, no, there was one this false god, means like of self-made god. What he said, like when somebody challenged him, can you show universal form? Hmm? And he says, see, for me to show universal form, I need a big ground, no, so that it can be accommodate all my incarnate, all my expansions like that. So and this news came out, and it like a lot of newspapers and everything came ready to capture this memorable scene where the this person is showing his universal form. Then on the day when he said that he will show universal form, he said he came out and he said, "Oh, this today it is cold, so I don't feel like showing universal form," and he went inside. So everybody made like everybody were like fooled. And the newspaper say that God felt cold, and he said he cannot show universal form because he's feeling cold. So that was actually written in the newspapers in the next day. So like that is the it this in order to in order to set a standard for somebody who is claiming to be God, who is the incarnation. There are criteria. First of all, like there are four principal ways we have to test of the means the four principal things that the his incarnation has to satisfy. Means first thing is his incarnation will be mentioned, because if you see all the incarnations of Krishna are mentioned in the scriptures. So scriptures will give the reference of Lord's incarnation if it is like major incarnation. Actually, it is said that Krishna has innumerable incarnations, and scriptures will mainly quote the prominent incarnation. If you see it like Dashavatar, and if you see in Srimad Bhagavatam gives about 24 incarnations of Krishna. So discusses. So it is quoted in scriptures. But there are some hidden incarnations of Krishna also. That is like Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Gauranga Mahaprabhu is also incarnation of Krishna, but he is a hidden incarnation. So, and the second criteria is associates, means like the pure devotees, like Vyasa, Narada, Devala, or no, many pure devotees. They actually confirm that he is the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is avatar. And the third thing is uh, his his uh, his activities what type of activities he does. No, his activities should be in line with the scriptures. Means his activities should be dharma, always to establish dharma, because what is the purpose Krishna incarnates in this world is to re-establish the dharma. Say fee. And fourth one is evidences. Okay, evidences also are required. So this universal form, when Arjuna asked Krishna to show his universal form, Krishna actually showed this universal form. But for the devotees, scripture says that the universal, like for non-devotees, the universal form is ultimate crescendo, means it's the main thing in Bhagavad Gita. If you see like some people, they wanted to depict that, they wanted to experience the universal form of Krishna. So especially in the previous generations, nowadays this generation kids, they don't even know what is universal form, what happened in Bhagavad Gita. They don't know anything, because but in our previous generation, especially our fathers or forefathers generation, the universal form of Krishna is the crescendo of Bhagavad Gita. Like that, they felt. Means somebody who is a non-devotee of Krishna, he feels that universal form is something most important thing in the Bhagavad Gita. And for them, to satisfy them also, Krishna like showed this universal form. So now in the verse number Lord Krishna himself, like 5 to 8, Lord Krishna from verses 5 to 8, Lord Krishna himself describes this universal form, because Arjuna asked until verse number 1 to 4, Arjuna asks about the Arjuna requests his universal form. If you think that I am qualified, please show me the universal form. Actually, Prabhupada writes this universal form is a temporary thing, because universal form is nothing but this how Krishna is Krishna has entered into this universe, means how Krishna is maintaining everything in this universe through his through his energies. So when this universe is a temporary thing, because this universe is created for some at certain point of time, and this universe will get uh, destroyed after some time. So this universal form is also a temporary thing. So when this universe gets destroyed, this universal form also gets like it doesn't get destroyed. It loses its form. Mm. So it's a material form and it's a temporary thing. When compared to Krishna's other incarnations, other expansions like Krishna, Rama, or Balram, like that, other expansions of Krishna are eternal. They are spiritual in nature and they are eternal. So the devotees are very much attached to the personal form of the Lord, where like the two-handed form holding the flute and something like that, which is very beautiful to look at it. It is most pleasing to the devotees. So the devotees are very much attached to this personal form of Krishna. But no, but for the sake of non-devotees, Arjuna has requested Krishna to show this universal form. Now, Krishna explains about this universal form, how in this universal form you can see everything. You can see past, present, and future, uh, and also describes many wonderful things like that. And then finally, from verses 9 to 14, Sanjaya, who was describing this universal form to Dhritarashtra, he also gives his description, and Vyasdev quotes that also in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. How the when Krishna showed this universal form to Arjuna, it was very effulgent, and everything in this universe can be seen at one place. And how Krishna was amazed like that. So Krishna's description and Arjuna's experience and Sanjaya's description are quoted by Vyasdev in the Bhagavad Gita. So after seeing this universal form, Arjuna was wonderstruck. mm, Like for this to the for one to see this universal form, Krishna, one should have divya chakshu, means divine vision. So Krishna bestows this divine vision to Arjuna, because Krishna says, with your naked eye, with your eyes, you cannot see this universal form. Just like if you enter into a 3D movie or some show where we have to use different kinds of specs, or sometimes in some sport they give binoculars, right? So where we can see and experience the show, or you can like that. So in the same way, Krishna also bestows this divine vision to Arjuna, so that he can be able to see the universal form. Universal form is, Krishna says, everything in this universe, whatever is there in this universe, is existing in one place. And he can see past, he can see present, and he can see future also in the universal form. That's like inconceivable for us to know, like how in one place that past, present, and future, and that too everything in this universe that existed in the universe can be seen in one place. That's a inconceivable thing for us, but Krishna says in his description like that, because universal form itself is so much that no, it cannot be described also. Because Arjuna was wonderstruck when he saw universal form. But what we get in Bhagavad Gita is Arjuna's explanation or Sanjaya's explanation also, because they both were mesmerized by when they saw the universal form. If you see anything very astonishing, we actually give more importance to experiencing it, but rather than memorizing it and listing out, noting down what I'm saying like that for the record taking purpose. Nowadays people has the cameras, or something like that. So even if you see something wonderful thing, even if you're recording also, you will lose interest in recording, and you just see and admiring that wonderful thing that we are witnessing it. Because that's why if you see, if you see something very brilliant, or that is going to be for a short period of time, we just try to see and experience it, rather than taking out a mobile phone or camera and capturing it. Because in the when we try to do that, we are actually losing our time to experiencing it. Mm. So in the same way, when Arjuna saw this universal form, Arjuna was wonderstruck with, Arjuna was amazed, no? And then like he describes very vaguely about the universal form, how it is, no? Arjuna sees the universal form. He says like Arjuna, when Arjuna sees the universal form, Arjuna says it is immeasurable. It has a great radiance, like thousand suns, hundreds of suns are rising at simultaneously in the sky, and everything is situated in one place. Whatever is existing like if for Arjuna, he was the person of the Dwapara Yuga, right? And he knows how the different devatas looks like, Yakshas, Kinnaras, Kimpurishas, Gandharvas, everything how they looks like. He has a knowledge, just like we have how Europeans, Americans, Australia, like Indians, Africans, how they look like. We have an idea, right? Now we for us to for us to understand. In the same way, Arjuna, because of his pious nature and because of his knowledge, he knows many things, and he was able to see everything, whatever he knows, and he doesn't know in the universal form. He sees uh, he sees different demigods. He sees, and how different demigods witnessing this universal form. Before Krishna show this universal form, he says that nobody has till now saw this universal form. Mm, Means like so this universal form is very rare to have a vision, like to witness or to see. This universal form is very rare. And even the devatas, when Krishna was showing this universal form to Arjuna, it is said that devatas and also Sanjaya and also some devotees like Bhishma Deva were able to see the universal form of the Lord. Mhm. So when devatas saw this universal form, they were also mesmerized, and they were starting mm, p- uh, offering prayers and pray to, and different sages also, they saw this universal form, and they everybody was offering prayers to Krishna's universal form, and Arjuna was able to witness that universal form of the Lord. And after seeing the universal form of Lord, Arjuna became fearful because of like some farms, some uh, Arjuna was able to see the death of everybody. How uh, the his enemies were crushed in the and in the with the teeth of the universal form. And he was able to see the death of great generals. All the atheists were going into the mouth, and they were being crushed. Means that is a ghastly sin. And so he sees different devatas and fire everywhere and effulgence everywhere. After seeing this, Arjuna becomes fearful, and he begs Krishna to withdraw his universal form. And after witnessing this universal form, Arjuna develops a question: who is this person? Actually, I was thinking he's my friend. He's sitting beside me, and I was talking casually until this point of time. But he looks like he's somebody, some mystical man. So he now, out of doubt and out of bewilderment, he asked, "Who are you?" No, he says, "Who are you in this ferocious form? What is your mission? What do you want to achieve with this?" Like so that kind of question Arjuna puts forth in front of Krishna. Now Krishna reveals not only his Bhagavan feature, he reveals his uh, Ishvara feature. Means Ishvara means controller. Controller means how controller, or Parmeshwara. As a Parmeshwara, Krishna how maintains everything. As a in the form of time, Krishna destroys everything that has been created. Right. So Krishna says, Kalosmi Logakshaya means I am time, I am time, the ultimate destroyer. Mm. So, so Krishna says, I am time, and in the form of time, I destroy everything, both moving and non-moving. So, so then after explaining that his feature as a time, Krishna says, be my instrument, just be my instrument. Nimitta matrena bhava savveshachi means be my instrument means, and then conquer your enemies. So because it is, you are thinking that you are killing your enemies, but actually your enemies are already killed by me. That's what he says. Means as in the form of time, I already destroyed your enemies. So you just have to be my instrument and then work for me. So that one may ask, if Krishna is already destroyed, why is he asking Arjuna to again fight? Because Krishna as a creator, when he sets the rules has to be followed, and what do you call, uh, like if government sets rules, on this road, this speed cannot, this is the maximum speed that one can go on this road, and one can take free ride, or one has to give some rules and regulations are there. I'm just telling the traffic rules. And government officers also has to obey that rule, because even though they are the part of government, they should not violate the government rules and regulations. So in the same way, when Krishna created this material universe, he sets some rules and regulations also, right? For the sake of how one will be destroyed, and how one takes birth, like that. So there are some rules and regulations for this prakriti or material nature to work also. Even though by the will of Krishna, all the enemies of the Pandavas were destroyed already, but in the physical level, it has to manifest. And for it to manifest on the physical level, one has to be an instrument. One has to work. So if you see the pastime of Srila Prabhupada, one time Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada was in when he first came to America in 1971. So somebody asked, "Who are you?" Then Srila Prabhupada has some divine vision. He says, "I am the guru of this parampara, and I have temples all over the world, and hundreds of temples are there, and thousands of disciples are there." Like that, he says, because as he has, with his spiritual vision, he is able to see. And Prabhupada says, only time is different. Time is separating us, or only with time they will manifest. So when Srila Prabhupada said this statement, the other person thought this person is crazy. He looks so poor and so lonely, and he is saying he has hundreds of temples and thousands of followers. So he says like that, because Srila Prabhupada being a pure devotee, he knows the future, what is going to happen. That's why he said that. So Krishna also, he destroyed all the enemies of Pandavas, but for that to happen, manifest on the physical level, Arjuna has to act. So that's why Krishna is telling Arjuna, you do your duty, be my instrument and work. So even though when we for anything to happen in this world, they are like, no, we need our effort, and also Lord's sanction. So even if Lord's sanction is there, unless we put sufficient of our purusha prayatna, means our effort, that won't manifest also. So that these are different things that are required for anything to manifest. Okay, and then Krishna has a time factor. He controls everything. He directs. He either controls directly or indirectly. Okay. So after explaining all these things, when Krishna explained all these things, Arjuna gets bewildered. No, he then requests his to display his 400 form, and then when Krishna again he actually unmanifests his universal form, and he displays the 400 form of Vishnu, and then that was very pleasing to Arjuna, and then also then from his 400 form Krishna again then comes to his original form as Krishna, and then Arjuna glorifies him. Arjuna glorifies Krishna's pleasing and ferocious forms also. When he sees universal form, out of respect and out of fear, he offers prayer to universal form. And then for his 400 form also, he offers prayers. And then in his 200 form also, he offers prayers. So one thing is unless Krishna's sanction is there, we cannot see or appreciate any of the form. If you see the universal form, it is said that some non-devotees are also had the opportunity to see the universal form. But what they do, they think that Krishna is some kind of magician or something like that, and they just ignore also. So only the devotees will understand how Krishna is most merciful and most most powerful person of the most powerful person, and they will appreciate. And only devotees can have, unless Krishna's sanction is there, nobody can appreciate or view any of his forms. Okay, and then after seeing all these forms, Arjuna repeatedly offer his obeisances, and he actually also begs forgiveness also, because Krishna says, I was thinking that you are my friend, and I actually joked with you, I addressed you very intimately, please forgive me. Like that he begs forgiveness. So and after everything is over, after Arjuna's prayers are Arjuna prays like this, Krishna says that this uh, dear Arjuna, I have shown this supreme effulgent unlimited universal form by my internal potency, being pleased with you. No one has ever seen you before. Okay, and then Krishna says, and Krishna then revealed his 400 form and his original 200 form, and thus encouraging fearful Arjuna. Because when Arjuna saw the for universal form, he becomes fearful, and he says, when he displayed his 200 form also, he says, Krishna says, this human form of mine, which you are seeing now, is still very difficult to see. Su, su, dur, Sudur darshanam means even the demigods are longing to see this form. So one may say, like being demigods, being on the upper planetary system, they should be able to see everything that is happening in the material world. But when it comes to Krishna, they cannot see the 200 form of Krishna also. Because unless Lord's sanction is there, unless one become a devotee of Krishna, one cannot see and appreciate the 200 form of Krishna. So Krishna says in the verse number 54, he says, only my undivided devotee, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am. Only in this way it is possible to know me and see me and enter into my mysterious, enter into the mysteries of my understanding. So, and Krishna says in 55th verse, he says, he who works for me, considering me the supreme, who is devoted to me without a material attachments, without enmity towards any living entity, will surely attain me. So these two are the prerequisites for no verse number 54 and 55. Krishna says, Mad Bhakta. Krishna is like the only a devotees can see or appreciate or understand his universal any of his form. Like if you see some religions, they know, like they say God does not have a form, why are you putting a form to the God, something like that. If no their what you call, what they say is, if you confine God to one form, then God has limitation, but God is unlimited. How can you confine God to one form and say that God cannot, God only can only have this form? No, it's not true, because God has unlimited forms, but God is in his original form is Krishna. This is according to scriptures, because Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam and Sarva Karana Karanam. Hmm? So it doesn't mean that if when we say God has a form, then what that person, that the impersonalist will think is, if God has a form, God will be, God's form and my form will be the same, and God will have the same limitations that I am having. Because I have a farm, in order to travel, I have to walk all the way, or use some vehicle to go from one place to another place. So, but if God also have the same difficulty, then how can he be great? Mm. That's why God doesn't have any form. That's what their conclusion. But God's form and our form is totally different. God doesn't have any limitations. Even if God is having a farm and God is sitting somewhere, but he knows everything about every aspect of this entire creation. So that it is proven in many instances in Srimad Bhagavatam also, in like that, in different pastimes of Krishna also. So after explaining all these things, Krishna is the source of all forms. Krishna's universal form, which is the temporary manifestations in this world, and the form of time, which devours everything, and even the four-ended form of Vishnu form have been exhibited by Krishna. Thus, Krishna is the origin of these manifestations. There are hundreds and thousands of Vishnus, but for a devotee, no form of Krishna is more important, but the original two-handed form of Shamasundara. This is confirmed in Brahma Samhita. So Brahma Samhita says Krishna can have any number of forms, but the devotees of Krishna will like his original two-handed form of Shyamasundar. That is the essence of essential discussion of this chapter. So I hope you are able to follow. If you have any questions or comments regarding this discussion, you can take now. Is it too fast or something like that? I think I was too fast. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji. You have a question, Mataji? Any
No,
question?
Prabhuji.
Oh,
No,
okay.
Prabhuji.
Anybody have any question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Uh, so, when we say that when we take birth, everything is decided, or as we do karma on this birth, after the birth, this is how our life gets, build up.
Not everything is decided. The amount of happiness, amount of distress, uh,
Huh.
amount of lifespan, amount of how many number of times you breathe, how much you eat in this lifetime,
Okay.
everything is decided. Like now, the facilities will be decided for you, but how you use them, that will be up to you. That free will be given to you, because as per your lifespan, you will live
Right.
this many number of days, and you will have this much happy days, and you will have this much of sad unhappy days. uh, so like that, how much time you spend, how much anxiety you will have, how much happiness you will have, that will be decided. That facility will be decided. Just like if a father gives you like $1,000,
Right.
like if like I'm saying, like when if a father gives a child $1,000, the child will has a free will to spend however he want,
Right.
and the reactions come for how he spent. Because if you use this lifetime properly, whatever the facilities, like you everything means not everything will be predestined, but amount of happiness that you get in this lifetime, or amount of distress you will be facing in this lifetime, will be decided or amount the facilities, our senses, our body, these are all temporary things that are given to us for the sake of doing the activity in Krishna consciousness. That is
Right.
decided.
Right. Right.
but But how you use them is given, that free will be given to us.
Right.
Did I answer your question? That's what, right?
Yeah, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any more question? Anything you didn't understand in this chapter? Hare Krishna. Okay, we'll end it here. Grantara Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Thank you for joining. Hare Krishna.
Thank you
Hare
very much,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Dhanyavad
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Mataji. Dhanavad Prabhuji. Dhanavad Prabhuji.